Okay, so in this one, I want to go into the meaning of I am. What does it actually mean? You know, if you're into spirituality or anything like that at all, or even meditation, you're inevitably going to come across this term, I am. And man, there's so many ways I could approach answering it, but what the perspective I want to approach it from is that of being a creator and of creating what it is that you want. Because ultimately, you know, what drives me is helping other people to realize their highest potential, but from the perspective of trying to do that myself and just sharing what I discover along the way. You know, I'm not trying to teach anyone or tell them how to live their life, because that's down to them. But I just want to share what I have uncovered within myself along the way, what I believe to be true. And so my perspective is that I am means that you know you're the creator. And when you truly feel that, not just know it or not just believe it, but understand it and know it because it's a feeling inside you, it changes everything. And in the last podcast, I spoke about how giving your power away to an unseen authority, asking it to help you, how it's imbued with a belief that you're powerless against it, that you're at its mercy. And it's a choice. You can choose to have that, or you can choose to just be that, energy. And eventually you realize that you are that. So when you say I am, it comes from a place of understanding that when you're creating in the world, you're not actually asking and receiving. You know, those are very human concepts of, you know, putting something out there and waiting to receive it. You know, set an intention, say some affirmations, hold that energy, and wait for it to arrive. And it totally seems like that. I totally get that. But the reality of it is that when you're the creator and you create from the I am, you realize that whatever you're creating is you. You are that. You are the universe unfolding. And so you can't receive yourself because it already exists. You're just becoming aware of it existing. When you say you're receiving it, you're becoming aware that you are that. So I'll give you a metaphor, an example of something that springs to mind right now. So I'm sitting at a desk right now. My cell phone is on my desk. And at the moment, my hands are empty. But let's say I want to look at the screen on my phone. That's an intention that I want. I want to look at the screen on my phone. But what's actually happening is that I'm becoming aware that I am a human being looking at a phone. So from my current perspective, the phone's still on my desk, and the state of I am is that I am a human being speaking to you through this podcast, and that I have a cell phone on my desk, and that I'm holding a desire to look at my phone. That's the truth of who and what I am right now. And so to be a human being who has manifested that desire, to be looking at the screen on my phone. I'm actually becoming aware that I am a human being looking at the screen of a phone. I am that. It's not something I receive. I don't send it out and into the ether and then wait for it to arrive. I just become it. I become a human being looking at a phone. I become that. I am that. And this is what I mean by the nature of existence, is that it's just unfolding. I am this. I am that. I am a human being with a desire to look at the screen on my phone. Now, I am a human being who has manifested a desire to look at the screen on my phone because I know that I am that. I'm a human being looking at the screen on a phone, and I'm a human being that is not looking at a screen on a phone. I'm a human being that's standing in a chair, and I am a human being, that's sitting in a chair, and I'm a human being that's standing up. I'm a human being that's walking around. I am that. I am a human being that is playing outside, that is feeding the cat, that is doing the washing. I am that. And so from that state of awareness, you're not doing the washing, you're being a human being washing something. You are that. You are that. And so when you truly understand this, when you know it at the deepest levels, you realize that there's no real asking. In my recent podcast, I said, ask and it is given. This is really a stepping stone. This understanding is a stepping stone towards a state of awareness of knowing that you just are. I just am. And this is what I mean by meaning is all that matters. Because let's look at the scenario of being a human being with a desire to look at the screen on my phone versus being a human being who is looking at their phone. Meaning is all that matters. So if I reach my hand out to grab onto the phone, it means that I can then lift it up. If I turn my fingers to the side, it means that the angle is such that I can see the screen on the phone. It's the meaning of how we express ourselves that matters. That's all that matters. And so the process of manifestation and truth can be viewed as holding a vision for a potential that you want to realize, and then bringing your awareness back into where I am now. So it's like I have a huge vision. Doesn't matter how huge it is, whether it's climbing Mount Everest or whatever it may be. I have a vision for a potential that I want to realize that I am. And so, let's say it's like a Ferrari. I've got a dear friend, and we always talk about a red Ferrari when we're talking about topics like manifestation. So the red Ferrari. So I want to realize that I am a human being who owns a Ferrari, who was driving a Ferrari. I want to realize my potential to be that human being who owns a Ferrari. But I'm not yet looking at the Ferrari. I'm not yet in the Ferrari. The same with my phone. I wanted to see the screen, but I'm not yet looking at the screen. So in order to look at the screen, meaning is all that matters. So if I grab the phone by the sides, it means I can lift it up. If I tilt it at this angle, it means I can look at the screen. Meaning is all that matters. So what does it mean? What is the missing meaning between the state of I am now without a Ferrari and the state of being I am with a Ferrari? And you begin reconciling it. It's literally a process of filling the time and space between where you are now and the state of being you envisage yourself to be. That is what creation is. And so here's an example. In the same vein of, if I pick up my phone, it means I can look at the screen. And you would say, well, Ferraris cost $250,000. What that means is I want to create $250,000 that I feel comfortable to spend on a Ferrari. That means I need to express myself into the world in a way that holds value, so that people are willing to exchange money for that value. What is it that I value about myself? How can I share that with the world and utilize it to touch and move people so that they want to appreciate me for the way that I'm lifting them up? You see? So it means that if I express myself in this way, that someone may be willing to exchange money based on their perception of the value I'm putting into their world and the impact of that on their life. Which means that if I find one person who's willing to pay this amount of money, it means that I can then find two people. Once I find two people, it means I can then find 5 and then find 10. And once I've found 10, it means that I'm generating enough money to get the help of other people to help me run this, because it's turned into a business. And because it's turned into a business, it means it's beginning to distract me from how I really want to express myself in the world. And so that means I actually want someone to run that business for me, which means I want to generate an extra 20% revenue in my business, which means I need to free myself up to express myself more, which means I need to diversify my products, which means I have to understand my customers more, which means that I need this person to help me to do this, which means that until you get to the point where you're saying, I am now a human being who has way beyond $250,000 in their bank account, and I am now walking into the Ferrari dealership to buy that Ferrari. Meaning is all that matters. And the beauty of it is that the fulfillment comes from the meaning, not from the Ferrari. Because you have this vision and it's always with you. You have a vision for this unrealized potential that you can become. I am a human being driving a Ferrari. I am that. I don't want it. I have the desire to become that, a being with a Ferrari. And so meaning is all that matters, and you live a meaningful life whilst you're in the process of realizing that you are a human being with a Ferrari. A red Ferrari. I am that. I am that. I am this. I am that. And if you have the tools to reconcile the disharmony along the way, because there'll be a lot of things that seeming obstacles and barriers that are preventing you from being a human being with a Ferrari, such as I don't deserve to own a Ferrari, such as people will think I'm a douchebag, such as I don't want people to think of me a certain way. And those will all prevent you from becoming a human being with a red Ferrari. All of it is internal, all of it. Because the truth is, the reason that you are not a human being with a red Ferrari now is because of everything you believe about the nature of reality. Whether it be that I don't deserve it, whether it be that it's foolish to spend that much money on a red Ferrari, whether it be that the only way to be a human being with a red Ferrari is to buy it. It may be that you're so highly advanced, you understand that the nature of how matter materializes from pure radiation into atomic form. And perhaps the meaning that you associate to it is less physical and more energetic. Nonetheless, it's the same thing. Meaning is all that matters. And so if you are, working at an alchemical level, you just apply the same methods. So, yeah, hopefully that makes sense. Meaning is all that matters. The law of attraction, I understand why it seems like that's how it works. And of course, it's okay to believe that. It's not going to be detrimental. But eventually you will reach a point of understanding where you realize that you are everything that you want. And what you actually want is not to receive something. It's to become something more. It's to become the person with the red Ferrari rather than to receive a red Ferrari. And when you reach this state of being, you realize that there is no power other than you creating stuff. There truly is no other power. So yeah, that's all for now. I'll catch you next time. Cheers.